7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Coming soon. Snake River Manufacturing is developing a revolutionary new way to design and build a custom kayak trailer. This modular design lets you customize your trailer one piece at a time, allowing you to grow as you go.
You know, a lot of folks think gorillas can't read. But when the magazine's this good, even I had to subscribe.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me for episode 49 of the Kayak Cafe. This episode and every episode for 2025 is brought to you by Snake River Manufacturing. So if you're out there looking for a beautiful kayak trailer, go to snakerivermanufacturing.us and check out all of the beautiful kayak trailers that Steve and the crew are putting together. There are some amazing rigs that'll get you to and from the water in style. Get you back home too. So check them out. They've got some great innovations. This episode is also brought to you by Viking Kayaks US. Go check out vikingkayaksusa.com and see all of the paddlecraft they have to offer. Some pretty cool stuff. So they're one of our sponsors for 2026 as well. So on this episode, I have a gentleman that is quite the innovator. He's got an amazing mind that's created some things that have made some waves in the industry, good and, great. So we're going to bring him in without further ado. This is Mr. Hans Nutz. Hey, Hans, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So
good to see you.
It's great to see you. I appreciate you coming in, taking time. I know you're a busy guy. So I will say I missed an opportunity to meet you in person. I believe it was a year or two back. Heroes on the Water, Tidewater came out to see your facilities and pick up some boats for their local chapter. And
that's right.
They asked me to go along, and I just could not get my schedule to mesh. And they're like, "Oh, we're out fishing with Hans," and I'm like,
"Man, yeah, you missed a good day. That was a good day out. We went to a local lake, so
awesome.
Patrick and that crew, they're good. It's a good crew up there.
Yeah, they're awesome. I volunteer with them as much as I can, and I have as many of their events in the magazine as I can. So, they don't pull any punches either. If you go in there, I'm non-military, and they treat me just like I'm one of the guys. So I appreciate them. So, and I appreciate everything you guys have done for Heroes on the Water, because I know you guys do quite a bit for that organization too.
Well, they're definitely doing something that's really needed, and so as much as we can help out, it's good to be able to help those guys out.
Yes, sir. All right. So for the people that don't know who you are, that may have been living under a kayak rock, can you give them a brief overview of who you are and what you do?
Sure. Yeah, we can start off with that. Like you said, I'm Hans Nutz. I'm a industrial designer by education, but I work for and with a group called Big Adventures, and we have 4 brands of kayaks. And I design the Bonafide fishing kayaks, which was a brand that I also helped to start back several years ago. So I am a product designer, design fishing kayaks, and have been doing it for quite a long time. And we developed them right in Fletcher, North Carolina, and we manufacture them in Fletcher, North Carolina as well. So it's a homegrown business, and the industry has had its ups and downs and swings and all of that, but we are doing it. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, it's awesome to run into a company that does all of their stuff in-house and locally versus waiting on things to show up from other places. But so I did a little background research and before we got going, and I see that you got your start in the medical design field.
Mm.
Does any of that translate over to the kayak world for you, or?
I guess I guess it could if I were to say like taking some of the methodology of quality metrics and things like that, the more boring sort of engineering-y type stuff.
Yes.
But no, a lot of it doesn't really, I guess. I learned, I kind of cut my what did they say? Cut my teeth on, sort of on the engineering side and learning the details of different types of CAD design back in the engineering world. But we also did a lot of like innovative work for companies that were doing sort of like future speculative stuff. And so at that time we were into all kinds of things, and it was interesting. I'll put it this way. One of my first projects that I was working on, partway through the project, we went to a town in Illinois to learn how to vasectomize sheep.
Yeah. Don't bring that over into design.
Right. It doesn't really translate the same, but yeah, it was
the Bonafide gelding might not sell.
Right. The medical device development is, quite a bit more boring than kayaks. So
right.
I'll say that.
I know it's with the design stuff I do with the studio, sometimes like from the wedding portion of it to now what I'm doing with the magazine, it really helped me in that area. So I don't know if you picked up anything from the medical field, but yeah, I can imagine just the routine, methodical gets you in the role. So,
yeah.
So you got into kayaking when you were in
when I was
school, correct?
In school, yeah.
Was that your first time kayaking, or were you into it before then?
Yeah, I think it was. I just I needed something to do while I was in school, and I've always done outdoorsy stuff. I've done a lot of like mountaineering, rock climbing, mountain biking, stuff like that. And so when I got there, we had the Tallapoosa River running right near us, and so some of my classmates were into it, and we started going. It was all whitewater, a little section of whitewater that we ran, but that's kind of how I got into kayaking, and just did it after, when I had time, basically, So
were you a huge adventure seeker? Because I see whitewater. I've been on a rafting trip when there were some kayakers that ran into some trouble, and I was like, I don't know if I'm game for that.
Yeah. It was the whitewater side of it it's always like an adventure. I probably didn't get enough like good lessons at the time, but it's funny because like I went to industrial design school, which is sort of I would call it, in some ways it's kind of like training to do innovation, and we've had several people come through that school that ended up in the kayak industry and whatnot. There was a guy there that I kayaked with that ended up and is still designing kayaks for Piranha Kayak, which is a whitewater brand. And he's super well known for the stuff that he does. So it's kind of cool because we had a cool group there. There's another guy that did has a company with kayak helmets for whitewater kayaking. Not that we need helmets for kayak fishing, but for whitewater. So there's some good innovation that came out of it.
Yeah, that's cool. How it's almost like I'm in the Hampton Roads area, and I know a lot of the founding fathers, if you will, they all came sort of from this area and a little further. So it's really interesting to hear that a lot of people went through the same design class you did, or continue on in the industry. So
yeah.
How did your background in whitewater influence the way you approach kayak stability now? Because I know that they're not as stable as what you're making now, but
yeah, definitely like the whitewater side of things. You're focused on just little tiny changes in volume and geometry of the boat, because water is essentially pushing and surrounding the boat and so it's much more like incremental changes on whitewater. The stability on fishing kayaks is, obviously it's, we're doing boats that are up over 700 pounds of capacity.
Right.
And so I think more than anything, the fishing side of it, the innovation is a lot more fun because there's so many things that can be improved, And so when I got into it, I think I saw the whole thing like it was a whole new world that it felt like, not enough people had really put a lot into it yet. And they were, and what came before what I did was really, really cool. But when I got to it, I was like, oh man, this is awesome. Like it's ergonomics, it's organization. It is all of it's like figuring out how to make a boat have more stability, but not be less efficient.
Right.
And all of those things. And I haven't unlocked any magical thing here, but it's just being able to work on those things all in one place. And then anytime I get to innovate something, it just is like I get great feedback from people about it. So it's more motivation to keep working on new stuff. So it's a cool thing. If I were to innovate, if I were to have created like a better bedpan, or a better stent, it could be amazing. And I worked on a lot of different kinds of things, right? But the feedback in the kayak world is fun. It's enjoyable to me because I get to hear about people going, oh man, I used something that you did or something you came up with and I loved it. And I'm like, that's awesome. I love that. So that's a good side of it. Yeah.
That affirmation is always great. So, and sometimes it comes when you need it. So you're like, I don't know if this is good. Oh, you like it? Yeah. Okay. I'll do one more issue.
Yeah, exactly. I'll keep going.
I'll keep going. Yeah. A quick question for you, because I know that, you started doing the design after the whitewater and you went fishing and you started adding things. Is there a moment where it was just like I'll give you an example for myself. Like we were just talking before, it was like a happy accident of things that happened to get me to where I am. Like the magazine and the podcast weren't the original goal. Is there a moment in your life where it just sort of everything fell into place, or to take you from the hobbyist to where you are now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I definitely so I've always loved the outdoor industry. Anyways, I think when I left grad school, I think I applied to every place, like climbing companies. I applied to Nike. I was like, I got to get in this. And then I was like, no, actually, I got to make some money. So I went towards the medical device world. But then later on, I had the opportunity where Confluence needed a designer. And by that time, I had a lot of years of experience. And they were like, can you design a kayak? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I can do that, And even though I had no idea what I was getting into in terms of I had so much to learn, I was a kayaker. So I was like, I'll figure it out if I could get into the industry. And it was crazy. It was a crazy ride for sure. But in the fishing side, it was kind of cool because I was focused on whitewater because that's what I knew. And from my perspective, kayak fishing was just barely on the radar, even though people had done them. Like there were fishing kayaks that existed. It just wasn't really on my radar that much. And then I went to ICAST, one of the earliest ICASTs, and I saw some competitors fishing kayak boats, and I also knew that I was being asked by Confluence, hey, we'd like you to look into the fishing kayak thing. So I went there and I was like, this is cool. I can do this. And I started fishing. I mean, I fished as a kid. I think I've probably said this before on other places, but I did trout fishing, but I didn't know anything about bass fishing. Like I knew nothing about bass fishing. And so I had to just start learning, and bass fishing being the dominant thing that kayak anglers around here do. I had to understand it. And so, yeah, that was like, I had the chance to actually take on a fishing kayak project, and it triggered like, oh man, let's, and I kind of saw it. I saw the opportunity and told people, like, I was like, let's go there. This is going to be a good thing. So, it already existed in the market, but I think the innovation just hadn't hit the way I felt like we could hit it. So
from your early days as a designer to where you are now, has your mindset changed from the design aspect, or even like the passion of the design? Has it grown, or?
That's a good question. I think I love, I could probably talk about innovation like all day. I really, that is probably something that I'm get pretty passionate about doing. And so I won't get into the boring details of it, but I love the methodology of it. And I love the problem solving side of things. So like you hit me with a problem and that's what I really enjoy doing. And so
that's when you're activated.
Yeah, it really is. And then I think also, like, over the years, I guess I've come to realize that I have this like quirky need to like throw some quirky aesthetics on some products. And so like I like certain, and that's, you see that come out maybe more so with Bonafide, but I like to see that combination of problems, like hard problem solving, and then like the product comes out looking really like purposeful and technical and sort of mission built kind of stuff. And so I think those things, I really do get excited about the problem solving of it, and making, like, just coming up with like different ways to beat a problem.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes, like for myself, I'm just sort of like in a normal mode, and then I'll hear someone say, let's say even business related, like, I don't know what to do. And I could like instantly I kick into well, here's 20 things you could do. Or if someone is starting a business, I have their whole business model in my mind already. So I can understand how like the kickoff really changes for you. Like, oh, here's a problem, I'm going to fix it. Yeah. Or it's going to drive me crazy until I fix it, So.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a
blessing and a curse.
It's a blessing and a curse. Yeah. I think my wife would probably be like, okay, stop.
Yeah. They didn't ask you for your help. No. Yeah. So have you helped design all of the current product line, or are there any that, or before you still in?
I think everything there, almost everything there I did, and have had a hand in everything. So I was there. When it started with 4 of us. And so, yeah, I think almost everything there I've had a hand in, with the boats and the, and even in a lot of the accessories. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Was there any designs that you were super passionate about that didn't make it to the water? Like,
yeah. So I was, I guess there's a lot of stuff that I've I guess conceived the ideas of for things.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes like it's just the time isn't right, or I don't have the bandwidth to figure it all out. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
man, that'd be really cool if I could do that, but it's just I can't do it right now. So there's a lot of stuff that's like, I'll say like sort of on the sketch pad,
Right.
you know, it's been there forever. And like, for example, like even the XTR, I mean, that was something that in some form or some version of that, I sketched it years and years ago. And I was like, could we even do that? And it's like, no, we could not do, like, no one would want that. So it had to take a lot of time. It wasn't that I was like, oh, I'm going to magically lead to here. It's just you just couldn't conceive of a customer that would be like, oh, that's it. That's what we want. And then it has to almost develop over time. So,
Yes.
yeah. And then like the riverboat that I did a couple years ago, I wanted to do that here and there, and the project didn't work out. It took a number of years to get to the riverboat. So,
was there ever a moment where you like designing coming in? Because I don't know, maybe not for you where you're already in the design aspect of it, but I know that sometimes when you get into a new position, a new job, where you feel like you have to prove yourself. Was there a moment where it was like, this is where this is where I'm supposed to be, I'm home? Was there a design that did that for you?
I'm trying to think, like,
or like a moment, like you're out in the warehouse and everybody's breakdance battling, and you're like, whoa! I don't know.
Honestly, like I'll say, like, I had a few minutes like that today, where it was just me and two other guys, and we were kicking around some ideas we were in the warehouse, and that's where the good stuff happens. Like, or it might be at the boat ramp. It just depends. But yes, there are lots of times where you're like, man, thank you for just telling me about some weird idea that you had and being okay with sharing it with me, or today we were just kicking around some new ideas, and that's perfect. That's what needs to happen. So, yeah. And that's the collaboration of it is big. I try to say that as much as I can, but it's probably still not enough. But collaboration's really important. None of this stuff happens without a lot of other people that are doing it. So,
now, do you have a core team? Because I do composite art, so I'd like take little pieces everywhere, and my business partner, I'll say, what do you think about this? And he's like, okay, well, there's little shading missing here, there. Do you have a core team that are your honesty, basically, like, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
Not the good jobbers, you need the person who's going to hurt your feelings a little bit.
I do. I have a number of friends that, guys that are on the pro staff, on the pro team, people that I trust, people that you probably know,
Yep.
That are able to give me hard feedback, and just, I can just bounce ideas off of, and, that definitely helps too. Like you got to have different people who are, sort of sprinkling in ideas along the way. Yeah.
So if you were to look back now where you are to like first year Hans rolling in, is there something now that you would just be like, yeah, dude, this is what you need to know?
It would have been cool to have known, and it may not have made a difference, but it would have been cool to have known how much crap people want to put on their kayaks in 2025.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I mean, some of this stuff, it just has to evolve over time. Even if I had made something today, like taken something today and made it 10 years ago, I don't think it would have worked. Just, but the industry has, making kayaks, making good kayaks is not easy. It's not from start to finish. And so, that's something that I think a lot of people look at it and they're like, well, how hard can it be? And it's difficult. I mean, all the way down to distribution and getting them safely to the retailers and all of that stuff. So the reason I say that is that, like, getting into it, just knowing now, at least I'm more aware of all of a lot of the little pitfalls that have to be overcome in order to create a boat that works, once it gets there and holds a lot of gear and is organized and fits, so
yeah, it's nothing.
Constant process.
I've seen several kayaks where people have said it's a great kayak, but this one thing just blows out of the water. And I, as a person who designs things, not kayaks, but I'm like, oh man, I bet you that stings. Like, I put all this work into it, and they're just nitpicking this one thing. Yeah,
well, and I've been really fortunate because I do miss. There are things on every model. I could give you a list of things that I would wish I had done better, gotten them right, whatever. But I'm pretty fortunate too, because so far, knock on wood, the customers give me some leeway on not absolutely just thrashing me all the time, although some do. But
right.
I try to put as much. I honestly try to put as much value as I can into these things and make them as usable as I can. They are not, obviously, some of them are not cheap to buy, but it is sheer necessity of business model. If we can make stuff and make some margin on it, then we can keep designing. So it's like, it is a necessity for us to get better stuff. We gotta be able to do it at a decent price. And so that part of it is like, I've been really fortunate to be able to keep making good stuff,
Yes.
and that's really been it's been nice. Honestly.
Yeah, the price point, I get that it is higher than what other kayaks are, but I will tell you, as we were discussing before, I'm a larger individual, and if I want to get into a cheaper kayak, I need to lose weight. So I could get into one of your lower dollar amount rides by just dropping some pounds and have room for everything else. But the XTR, what you're pushing, 750-pound weight limit. I mean, if you put aside the people that are saying, is it a kayak or whatever, that's a debate for, some backroom bar. Who cares? I just know that when you created that, you opened the door for so many bigger anglers, because a lot of my videos of big guy getting in a kayak have all the views, and they're like, how do you, what kayak is that? What is this? What is that? So I know by your design, you've totally opened up a whole new demographic of anglers that are just scared to get on a plastic boat because of the stability and the weight limit. So that's kudos to you. So
thank you. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. It did, I had hoped that it would do that. And I was really happy to see and really somewhat surprised at how much we found a new group with it. And just for example, like, I would say I had people tell me like, hey, this thing is going to do really well with people who love to do catfish. I'm like, okay, I hear you, but I don't know that world. But it's really cool to see that, like a segment like that come along, you know?
Right.
And really, like, you know, to me, like being able to put someone who's bigger in that boat, and you can still bring gear, or you
Yes.
can still have motors.
Mhm.
You know, yeah, when I tell somebody that we have a kayak that has a capacity of over 700 pounds, they're like, "What are you doing?" But I'm like, it's
Right.
needed, you know.
Yeah, I watched a lot
So
of videos with like Christine Fisher, and she walks around her kayak like there's nothing. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
well, she weighs about as much as this can.
yeah,
I can't do that. So,
right,
and then I watch Travis Fulks on his, and I'm like, okay, well, he's not a big guy, but he's not a small person, and he's
yeah,
all over that thing. So I'm like, all right, well, that needs to be something I need to look at because I love the open concept. I like the ability to move. So yeah,
it's
I like that it's able to be traversed back and forth by a normal individual.
yeah, yeah. It really opens up a lot of options. And
Mhm.
I've wanted to do a kayak that had a standing deck for a long time. Uh, but kind of like I was saying before, just that idea alone was like, I don't know that we can, I don't know that I can do that. And if it doesn't work out, it's going to be a major screw up, right? So it just
Yes.
took a while to get it to the place where it could happen. So
Yeah,
it took
I can only
750 pounds of capacity to
yeah.
make it happen.
So let me ask you this off of that. How much stage fright, as it were, do you have on product launches? I mean, I can
Uh,
imagine that's quite an undertaking.
yeah, that's a good question. I think part of it is like I have some concern that like I haven't made something that I haven't made something that the end customer is going to find really useful. And like, and my passion is for like getting more people out on the water and getting them fishing and in these kayaks. So always want to make something that people really love. You know, they have that. For me, I call it like kind of that oh shit factor. You know, where it's like you see it and you're like, oh, that's cool, and then you use it and you're like, it's even better, right? So like
Hmm.
that to me, if I can do that, it's not so much stage fright as it is like I want to see it happen. So year to year, it just pushes me to try.
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to always nail it. Not every boat's going to be for everyone, and they
Yes.
shouldn't be for, you know, they shouldn't be for everyone. That's why we have different ones that you know, are sort of more versatile in certain water, or they work in certain waters, and other ones that are more versatile for other things. But yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of it. Is like there's definitely a fear I have of when we go test the final boat out, and I'm like, usually that's my own. I have a kind of a little ritual. I like to try to be the first one in the boat, and then first one to catch a fish out of the boat.
Hmm.
Doesn't always work out, but but
No one knows. You always catch a fish every time.
I think my son caught the first fish out of an XTR.
Ooh.
I got that picture somewhere, but yeah, there's always a stage fright, I guess, of like, um, I already know that like it's going to work to some extent, but then it's like, okay, how exactly? And it takes weeks and weeks and weeks of going out, maybe sending somebody else out, and like somebody will call me, and I'll be like, oh God, here we go. You know, they're going to find a problem. So it takes weeks of that kind of work, and I'll take it in these conditions, and then I'll wait and I'll go over here and take them, and then just try and make sure that stuff is working right and all of that. But
Now, how do you
it's
keep it? How do you keep it under wraps? That's the one thing I've always thought about too. Is like when you come out with a new design, you want to premiere it somewhere. I mean,
yeah.
do you like take it someplace private to test it, or?
I mean, I definitely get busted here and there on local lakes, but so far most people have been pretty nice about like.
You got NDAs in your back pocket?
I mean, only maybe a couple times has somebody been like, they've been like, I know who you are and I know what that is. You know what I mean? And that, but for the most part, when people see it, they're like, I've never seen that before. And I'm like, well, can you just kind of keep that, like, don't pull your phone out, just kind of keep that quiet.
Yeah.
But it's,
how many
most people are
stickers?
pretty nice.
How many stickers is it going to take you to be quiet?
Right, exactly. And honestly, outside of our community, which is a cool community to have, like outside of that, like people don't know what they're looking at. You know, I could drive most places and, you know, it's just another kayak to people who don't kayak, right? So it's like,
yes,
you know, so I'm pretty good. Just don't drop by my driveway anytime soon in certain times of the year.
Yeah, Google Earth. Oh man, something new's coming.
Yeah, Google Earth might pick up something. So
yeah, that's awesome. So, what programs do you use to design kayaks?
Yeah, so my methodology is probably pretty straightforward, but I use both like sketching and ideation type work early on, and then I use SolidWorks as my CAD program. I use Photoshop, Illustrator as well to sort of convey ideas and work across different platforms. But SolidWorks is my I do all solid surface modeling, renderings, all that kind of stuff in SolidWorks, and it's not the best platform. It's really an engineering platform, but since I came through medical, that's what I learned. And I just it's a good platform overall. You can translate to lots of different types of people, like types of platforms with SolidWorks. So it works pretty good.
Now, do you do any type of continuing education? Because I know with like Photoshop, from where I started to where I am now, is like light years. So do you just learn on the fly, like as it comes out, or?
I don't do enough of that. I probably should teach should teach surfacing because it's because I'm doing kayaks. I'm doing some pretty wacky shapes, and I could probably give advice to people who are coming up into the modeling world a little bit. But no, I probably should do more continuing education, but a lot of mine is more based around fishing and innovation, trying to figure out sort of like where we're headed and kind of that realm, I guess.
So when you're in your like design zone, do you like lock yourself away in the office? And because I know that my business partner and myself, we're if we could high five if we wanted to, and when I'm doing a composite, I'm like, don't look, let me finish, because as it's being built, it does not look good. Yeah, it's like you have to polish off all the rough edges and then boom. Do you like to just hover away and be in your zone?
I do. I try to collaborate at times with the right kind of people. I can collaborate when stuff's not really fully cooked, fully baked. But really, like I have a home office. I work from home quite a bit, and my kids know that I have a lot of kayak related stuff around the house because I'm usually spread out stuff working on things. But my home office is a lot of it, and then I go into the company office and collaborate there, and so it's kind of a back and forth between those. But for me, definitely long periods of concentration, is part of doing this side of it. So yeah.
So let me ask you this, because I always look at my projects and I always see things I can do more or different, or I've learned something. Is a project, even though it's gone to a mold, is it still truly finished in your mind? Or is there like, I want to go back and tweak that again? Or
Yeah. Man, there's so like the speed at which we're going these days probably always will be that way. But I also feel like I've gotten my workflow to a place where I can kind of get to something and get it polished up and then be like, okay, I got to set this aside and move to the next. But yes, I mean, yes, if I had unlimited amounts of time, I would still take up every last minute of the time to do it. So I have to give myself, we have constraints that we're trying to hit certain things. So we have to kind of stay on a schedule anyways.
Give yourself permission to move on. Yeah. It's good enough.
Coming, so you have to be like, all right, I'm doing this, tomorrow I'm doing that,
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
Like, I'm going to spend 4 more hours on this composite. And they're like,
yeah.
My business partner's like, is it going to pay? Are they going to notice? Number one, is it going to make that much difference? No, it's just going to be in my mind. So the good enough is where you got to go. So, how have things changed since you started, like material wise? Are you still using the same materials to create, or have there been advancements in the lineup?
That's probably one of the more consistent things in the industry. I would say like the plastics themselves have gotten a little bit better. We're definitely using more injection molded parts now. We're using more custom stuff, which is really helpful. Like the fact, like now, like I can really, if I can dream something that needs to happen within reason, obviously, I can kind of be like, hey, we should do this. And we, between our group that, we can kind of look at it and go, okay, can we afford to do this? We have more control over some of that, but, and I would say like where we manufacture is I feel like we have really good controls over our quality, and it's really hard to make a good boat. And as these boats get bigger, it's really important. I mean, it's shape matters for not just for being in the water, it matters for everything, riding on a trailer, shipping, all that stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it that's not just fishing related. And we've gotten better and better at getting better shapes on our boats, being more consistent with how they're made.
Nice. This is a really good question. Did you know what you were going to do to the kayak world with the XTR?
Well, I do. I appreciate I appreciate that question. Honestly, probably more than you know. No, I did not. I did not really know that, and I don't know what. And maybe I should back up and say I don't know for sure how. Like, I'm flattered by that. I'm not exactly sure where it's all going to go. But I will say that if this might be a good answer for the question is like internally, I have wanted to make that boat for a long time in some form or fashion. And when I laid out the concept full scale, like in a room, and showed it to some different people, and people within our company like Shane and Tyler, like Tyler was fully on, like he was excited to see the idea and probably pushing the idea from behind, but just kind of in the background, just kind of going, hey, But when I put that concept together, it was pretty crazy to be like, yeah, I'm going to make a deck you can stand on, and it's going to have a second seat you can add. And I think when we did that, it was just like, once I saw it, I think at that point everyone was like, yeah, like we got to do it, right?
Yes.
And it wasn't, there's some people that were hitting around the idea, and it's not like I don't want to take credit and say like, oh, I did I'm not the only one to have done a kayak that size or whatever, but it was just like the way I wanted to do it. It was really, once we saw it laid out full scale, we were all like, hell yeah, let's go, and then it felt like we had to. So
Sham said he's trying to get some replacement pads, can't get a hold of it. Is there a recommendation you have for him?
If he should be able to through the customer service line. If not, just find me on Facebook and I'll try and put you in touch.
Perfect. So when you make your mock-up, how is that, like 3D printed, or do you cut it out of clay like they show you on the old Corvette commercials?
Yeah. Well, a lot of times I'll use a combo of 3D printing, but also like plotting. I'll plot stuff and plot sketch, keep going back and forth, just making ideas sort of come to life that way. We used to have a more complete prototype process, but we do less and less of that because we're able to do more CNC to mold type work, and so that has cut our process and is sped it up. But it also puts a lot of pressure on me, and I have a lot of stuff now that I have done over the years that I can kind of fall back and go, okay, I did this is going to work. So I kind of have like, I can draw from back, past designs to make future stuff work. So there's a sort of a process there, but a lot of the layout stuff, it's literally, what we used to call napkin sketch type stuff. Whiteboard, sometimes plots, and then 3D printing, get feedback, go back to the whiteboard, stuff like that.
Imagine the XTR 3D printed was like a 14-day print.
Yeah. Well, I can't, and I can't 3D print one the full size, obviously, but the 3D prints get pretty, they can go, it can take a week to 3D print, and we're running multiple 3D printers and stuff. So I want to ask you this as a photographer, because when I saw the thumbnail of the video release of the XTR, and it looks like you're this tiny guy behind this huge boat for the forced perspective, was intentional, was it not? To make it like it actually wasn't, believe it or not. Like it was we're in it's kind of a small room, and Cam, the videographer, threw a wide angle lens on there, and we didn't have, just so he could catch the whole boat.
Right.
And then I was, obviously standing behind it because I wanted to point out some stuff. And then he was like, dude, you look really small. And I was like, okay, just roll with it. But when I finally
you're like, rude.
I know, I was like, thanks. When I finally saw it, though, I'm instantly I kind of laughed, because I was like, this is so ridiculous. I mean, it looks ridiculous,
Yeah.
But it worked. So I can't say it was a happy mistake, I guess. I don't know.
Happy accident. There you go. So, is there any kayak you've designed that you're the most proud of? Like one that you're that's my design that I'm super, super stoked with? Yeah.
Oh, man. I probably look at, and this is not like a real, it's actually not a negative thing, but I'll look at a lot of them and I'm like, I can see mistakes that I made in all of them. it's not a, you know, I don't, it's fine. I'm happy,
Yeah.
but I would say like, I'm going to go old school just because like I think of a lot of the kayaks I design, I remember the design process
Mm-hmm.
and, the, you know, the Bonafide, I mean, one of my favorite boats is the RVR. So
Mm-hmm.
like that boat for me, and it's not for everyone, but for me, it was just a very personal project. It was one that I really wanted to do. I put a lot of effort into that boat, and I still miss some stuff on it. There's still stuff I would fix, you know, but overall, I love how that boat came out. But if I go old school, like one of the craziest things was doing the Attack 140,
Mm-hmm.
which was back with Confluence. And the reason is because if I had to go back and look at that design again, I just now, like looking back, I'm like, there was so much I didn't know about what I was doing in the world of kayak design. And I just was like, also, Chad and I were talking at the time, and I
Mm-hmm.
think at first he was like, I was like, what? How long should we make this thing? And he's like, dude, make it 14 feet long. And I was like, okay. And I went into a meeting. I was like, we're gonna go 14 feet, and they didn't know, like I did, like they didn't know to tell me no, like
Mm-hmm.
they just were like, okay. And
Sometimes
so,
ignorance is bliss.
yeah, so it was a really fun time, and I actually at the time I had a little bit more designed time in the system,
Mm-hmm.
and I sketched up these. I had to sketch up these like ideas with that actually had. I sketched people fishing from the kayak because I had to explain what I wanted to do enough that they could buy into it and be like, oh, okay, because a fishing kayak with a seat that slides up and down rails and all of that, people were just like, they just didn't understand. They didn't have any clue about that, right?
Right.
And I barely did.
You're
And
trying to sell them a
so-
flying car. They're like, what are you talking about, flying
Yeah.
cars?
Yeah. So I was kind of running. I was outside of my zone when I started that project,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow I was able to get it done with the help of honestly, with the help of a lot of anglers back then. I mean, Jeff Little gave me some really good feedback back then, and man, there was a bunch of guys from the Wildy team, but that one was really fun. And whenever I see that boat in the wild now, I'm just like, holy cow, that thing.
You ever just walk up and sign one? And
I don't know if I've ever signed one.
you're welcome and walk away.
And it had such low volume, like for
Yeah.
what we have now. You know, the thing you barely, if you see somebody in one, sometimes it looks like they're just sitting on the water compared
Mhm.
to, now the seats are high. I mean, so.
Yeah, I know with this stuff I create, I love the story behind it because it's, you're taking someone and you're doing some things that they just can't fathom. But for you, the story behind the kayak designs, have you ever thought of writing a book? Basically, like the stories behind because I'm sure there's a lot that could be told
Yeah.
about the experience.
I hadn't thought of that. That I'm sure I have plenty of material. That's for
Mhm.
sure. I mean, just developing the SS 127 when we started Bonafide, that boat alone was super difficult to do because we had to build every single thing for it. There was nothing in the system, and when you think about like a company like Confluence, all the components already
Mhm.
exist. We started from scratch, and it was just four of us working on it, and one was like doing like product manager kind of stuff, and then Luther was trying to get like all this other stuff off the ground. So it's really like me, an engineer, Matt, and Jake working on it full time, and we did. Oh man, it was super stressful. I mean, it was just like an incubator of development, and we were working out of a little building where there wasn't any air conditioning. We had a little roll around air conditioner that
Mhm.
in the corner, and 3 printers on the floor, and the ceiling was falling in. So yeah,
Like every good success story, right?
it was wild.
Yeah.
It was some wild times.
You're like, you want the AC? Give me an idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Leaving the office at midnight, leaving the
Mhm.
building at midnight, getting back at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, So,
Laying in bed just thinking about designs. I've done that.
man,
Like,
I think I'm too old for that now. I don't know that I
Yeah.
could do that again.
so Dave asked, is there one that got vetoed? Because he said you never stop innovating. Is there the one that got away for you?
Oh, I think it's more like maybe they go on the back bench. Like
Mhm.
yeah, I would say so. I'd say they do get. I've had a number. I've had some ideas that needed to be vetoed. But there was, for example, like I'll give an idea of one that came to life eventually, but I wanted to make sort of a hybrid stand-up paddleboard
Mhm.
recreational kayak thing, and it got vetoed quite a bit, and then it finally came to life as the High Life in Perception. It has a little cooler under the seat and stuff like that, and that was one. And I didn't design it. A guy named Snowy designed it. I gave him some advice while he was doing it, but a lot of times stuff just gets sent away, and then it's not the right time, and we come back and get it. No, there's a lot of stuff I would love to do, but I'm just not there yet. So,
Are you like
hang
Miles?
on.
Are you like Miles from Elf when they call him in? He's like a little black book. All right, a tomato.
Right? Yeah, he's an angry little elf.
He's
Yeah,
angry. Yeah.
yeah. I don't have exactly that book. I mean, I have probably
Mhm.
5 of them that are like something is in there, but you couldn't even probably like half of
Yeah.
them. They're
Yeah, I have sketches everywhere of things I'm thinking about and ideas,
Yeah.
and somebody will say something. If I don't write it down, 30 minutes later, even some of the jokes I tell, they're like, "Tell them what you said." I'm like, it's gone. I don't remember it. So awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're about to the hour mark. Is there anything you want to throw out there before we peel out, or?
No, I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity to come talk kayaks and kayak design. Hopefully, I'm not too boring as a guest, and
No, this was
talk
great.
Talk about all the different stuff. If there's anybody has any other questions or anything that they want answered, but yeah, I mean, I'm continuing to go on new stuff, and it's been a good. The XTR's been a good one for sure. It's been one that's really kind of caught us all by surprise a little bit. So.
Oh yes, yeah, it's definitely made waves in many forms. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're talking about you, either was it no even bad publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
So all the people are like, it's not gonna. Yeah, that's great. You don't have one yet. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's what's fun.
I'm definitely appreciative. Sometimes someone will shoot me a thing and say, "Man, I finally got in that thing. It's awesome. I really love it." So that definitely is really nice to hear.
Yes. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you taking time away. I know that you have 2 young children as well, like I do. So every time you're away from family, it's something that we have to be mindful of time. Also, I appreciate what you did for the kayaking community with all of your designs. Like I said, XTR, I appreciate you making that for the plus size community. Yes.
Well, I'm glad everybody found it, and it was received well.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate it, you guys wanting to kind of get in on finding out about what we're doing, and staying connected with us as we manufacture boats and design new ones. So
All right, Dave's got one last question here. I was not going to ask you this because I didn't want to, but is there anything coming out, that you're going to blow them out of the water again?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. I can't, you just got to wait and see. And
you say Google Earth him and find out.
I definitely don't want to make promises that anything I'm going to do is going to blow anyone out of the water.
Yeah.
It's a goal. It's not something that we necessarily hit every time, but man, if we can make stuff better and keep improving, and there's still a lot of room to improve things, I think that's it. And you're right. Like I'm going to continue to keep on going. So
perfect. All right. Well, I appreciate it, and I'm going to go ahead and throw you in the back room real quick while I say goodbye to everyone. Then I'll come back into you.
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Merry Christmas from my father. If anybody's out there, Merry Christmas, Dad. So thank you all for joining me for episode 49 with Hans. It was a great event. Hopefully you all got some good stuff out of it. This episode is brought to you by Snake River Manufacturing, and every episode for 2025 is brought to you by them. Go to snakerivermanufacturing.us and check out all of the kayak trailers that Steve and the crew are putting together. There's some amazing kayaks that are, in my opinion, some of the best that are ever made, but you be the judge. So this is also brought to you by Viking Kayaks USA. Go to vikingkayaksusa.com and check out all of their paddlecraft. They have some amazing things to get you out into the ocean, back to your roots of paddling. So go check them out. Also, kayakcoffee.com has given us a code, cafe20, for 20% off of your order. So go to kayakcoffee.com and pick yourself up some coffee. So, all right. Well, thank you all again for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you next week.